Today we're going to be talking about the viola, and I do have a few questions.
Hmm.
How would you start off with a good posture?
Definitely sit at the front of your chair. I know it's a little hard to do here.
Okay.
Yeah, just sit at the front of your chair. You wanna like have a nice straight back, but not like overly like
Not like curved, but like
yeah. Just and then like just relax your shoulders and everything. You don't want to like do that,
okay.
and then just bring it up.
And then like we talked about tops in class. I know that you can do this, and then take the bottom, and then bring it up to your neck. And I know that it doesn't go directly under the chin,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, it's not like a violin. You kind of put it more to the side and just lean your head on it.
okay. And then about the bow grip.
Hmm.
Like when I grip my bow, like my fingers are always at like an angle.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Because at times it'll feel like a little bit strained.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if it's just because like my bottom thumb isn't as flexible,
Hmm.
or if I'm putting too much tension in like the upper fingers.
Yeah,
Um,
it could be a combination of
okay.
those things.
And then my pinky tends to act like want to remain rigid.
Hmm.
So is that like a normal thing?
Um, well, you want your pinky to be flexible, especially with viola. Like with, can I see your bow?
Yeah.
With violin, it's more just relaxed and there on top. But with viola, you actually want it to be
More
more,
like firm, more
yeah, because
secure.
it's a bigger instrument. You need
Pressure
more
or
weight. Yeah,
oh, okay.
not pressure. You don't. Well,
Well,
pressure, yes, but you don't want to like death grip it
right.
and saw your instrument in half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would not produce a good tone.
yeah.
Okay. So about like that.
Hmm.
Okay. And then I'm gonna play C. Is it normal to have like a kind of like a grating sound?
Grating sound.
Like it's almost like if you play over the F holes,
Hmm.
like
That like kind of buzzing, like
yeah,
overtone, undertone thing.
yeah,
Um, I think so. It's probably it's just the instrument, the instrument. Yeah,
just how it
and
resonates and
yeah, and it's just you can't hear it so much out here. It's just because your ear is
okay,
so close to the instrument itself, you can hear everything else that's going on.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
because I think sometimes it'll cause me to over adjust.
yeah, and a lot of it is like you can sometimes hear just like the hair itself just scraping against the string.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
but
then
that's not the sound that it carries on out there.
okay, so
Yeah, like it sounds really
okay, and then the left hand placement.
good. Hmm.
Do you? For me, it feels like it's that my
Don't let your wrist
bottom.
collapse.
Okay,
Yeah, you don't want this. You want this. You want your wrist to be able to like support everything. And if you do this, it's not gonna help. Yeah.
cause then it's like really
Yeah, then your fingers just can't move, and you want to
yeah.
be able to.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because like it doesn't like the fingers won't be able to press down as hard.
Right.
Okay.
And you'll be like really restricted in like shifting and
Okay.
everything. And, yeah.
Yeah. Um, what do you suggest about using the fourth finger for fingerings?
Uh, well, with stuff like that, like it's better than using open strings in some cases, but I'd say for like really beginner kids, like wait for a little while. Does she have you guys doing fourth finger stuff?
We discussed the fourth finger in class, and there's things mentioned in the book about it. And I've been using the fourth finger occasionally just to like reach like the top, or maybe like the ninth above
Yeah.
skill degree one. I know that there are. Well, it's easier to use it if you have other fingers supporting it. So I think that'll make a key difference. But I do notice that the pinky, well, at least mine just bends a lot.
Joint. Yeah.
So would that just be like a dexterity building exercise, just to kind of get that?
Yeah. I know. Yeah, just like focus on the lifting and placement of your fingers.
Okay.
Like for cello, especially, we have to do that because pinkies can collapse really easily.
Yeah. And then for pizzicato, we use. I know that you have to keep these fingers tucked in and make the little like hook motion, and then some players will put it on the edge, and some will keep it on the fingerboard.
Yeah.
Where do you usually keep your thumb?
Personally, whenever I do that, I'm usually holding the bow already. Hold on. Can I see your bow?
Yeah.
So I don't always do that because it's closer to down here, but I guess if I have to, I can rest it down here.
Okay.
I don't usually do that because, I don't know, my hand's bigger than some people's.
Yeah, because we haven't really talked about switching between pizzicato and bowing. We've only focused on pizzicato.
It's a little complicated.
So.
But yeah, if I did that, I would probably just, keep it where you have it.
Okay.
And not really, like, put it on the instrument too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, if you're switching between pizzicato and bowing, would you hold the bow a certain way while you're doing that?
So everybody does it differently. Like you can just use like this finger to pits and just keep your finger up there, or if it's like a long passage, just like kind of turn it around and hold it.
Okay.
Or you can. I'm trying to think. Just do that the whole time, or down, or put it in your lap.
Okay, so like not even using like the pointer finger, just kind of using like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but usually I just, cause like your fingers stay in the same place.
Okay.
You just kind of tuck it in.
You just like flip it over.
And then whenever you need it again.
Oh, okay.
Out. Yeah.
Alright. For tuning, we've been using the fine tuners more in class, and do you? How often do you have to use your tuning pegs to tune?
Like my actual pegs. Smaller instruments have to use them more often than the larger instruments usually, because like the strings are so much smaller and like smaller changes can make a bigger difference. Usually I only have to use my pegs whenever like the weather changes really drastically, or like I hit my cello on something, or
and it just kind of causes everything to come out.
Actually, my cello that I have over there it only has 2 fine tuners, so I have to tune my G and D my G and C strings only with the pegs, and it's really hard.
Yeah, because
But I don't play that one much.
Yeah, because we had talked about in class how there were one or two usually, and there wasn't really a clear explanation why, but apparently every response was different.
Yeah.
So. Do you recommend? Well, what string do you would you usually start out with?
Like
for tuning, like if you were to just A or
yeah.
so the bottom. Oh, so the top string, or
yeah,
from the top down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever? You've seen the orchestra.
Yeah.
Playing like have you ever played in? Yeah. We always start with A, the highest string you go down.
Okay.
But you can. Well, actually, no. You still start with A there. I was gonna say you can start with the low, but that's usually just starting with like the low strings, and then working your way like up around.
Okay.
Instead of just having everybody go all at once. But usually in like an orchestra setting, it's the like concert master, concert mistress will tune their A string, and then every other string.
Okay.
Yeah, we all just tune our A's to the same A, and then we tune the rest of our strings to our own A. Yeah.
And then with that, once you have the A in tune, there are some sort of discrepancies on finger placement with or between each string.
Yes.
What do you usually have wider? Well, I mean, you would have wider gaps between notes up at the top, and then smaller.
Yeah, it gets smaller because as you put more fingers down, the string length gets smaller.
Okay. And then as a bow. One difficulty that I have is whenever I'll go to play a string or like I try to switch between them, I'll end up hitting both strings. Do you have any tips on how to kind of steer clear from that?
Well, just like slow practice, I guess, and try to really be conscious of the angle of your bow.
No,
I mean like where it is against the string.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like in lane 1, lane 2, lane 3.
No, I mean like, can I see this?
Yeah.
And yeah, string crossings are hard sometimes. But like if you want to like really make sure you're not just like moving just a little bit. You make sure you're not hitting your
not like teeter tottering against the
See, I did it there because I was gonna hit the couch. Yeah.
Okay. Try to switch in between that.
Yeah.
And what I also notice is that when I'm switching between notes, there's kind of that breaking sound of like me trying to stop it.
So whenever you get to the tip of your bow, just for practice right now, just like, I mean like whenever you like play a down bow and you get to where you want to stop, just like pause for a second and then reset to the other string, just for practice right now.
Like that? Okay.
And then play. I mean like, play, pause, set, play, pause, set. Like, do you feel how your hand is moving kind of like a circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you really want to focus on. is the movement that you're.
And we also talked about picking up off of
Mm-hmm.
lifting off of the bow. Do you have any sort of technique for lifting off of the bow other than just trying to break it entirely and then picking it up? Or
Wait, what do you mean?
so if I'm down bowing and then I pick up, I lift the bow off the string to go to the next note. Would I use that circle technique to try to facilitate that?
Yeah. I mean, the circle thing is just with every string crossing in general. You want to pay attention to like the round motion that your hands are making, that your hand is making.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely having the circle in mind will help with the lifting, set, and then play, lift, set, play.
Okay, let me try that.
And when you do that, for now, sorry, before you play a note, make sure your bow is on the string and you're not attacking from the air, because that's why you get the bounce.
Yeah, because I noticed that, like,
Yeah.
in fact, that happens a lot, so that's probably why that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna move on to some repertoire.
Okay.
This is Oh Susanna. Let's start out with pizzicato. Check my intervals. Oh, and that's another thing. Whenever I switch fingers, um, my like if I'm switching one to the like I'm on the D string and I'm switching one to the A string, I notice that my fingers kind of press on this A string. So instead of getting just an open or a B out of that, it'll sound like kind of like muffled or
just make sure your fingers like are semi perpendicular to your fingerboard.
Yeah.
It's all about like wrist and finger angle, so you're not touching the other strings.
Yeah. Well, because then and then the fingerboard's curved, so I could see where that could kind of complicate things.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Let's play a little bit of Oh Susanna. Okay. And then we'll try it with the bow. Do you usually, even if you're playing arco, do you always just go through the fingerings with on pits, like if you have like a passage in the music where you just kind of have to figure out what the fingerings are? Do you just start out with pits
You can, or you can just go through the fingers just by themselves.
Okay.
Or just go ahead and play it, Argo.
Adding the bow. And then because I noticed that when I switch the G or the D string to the A string, I kind of have this. I do notice like a bit of a pressure change.
Yes.
With that, or well, I guess weight change.
Yeah. With smaller strings, you don't need as much weight to make a sound.
Okay.
So lighten up just a tiny bit, because you don't want to like push into the instrument with your hand. That's not what you're like using the weight of your arm and everything to just kind of hang there and use that weight and not pressure.
Okay.
And you just want to lighten up a little bit whenever you get to the A string, but not too much.
And then I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. This second part. Because there are certain points in the music where I do have to lift to switch strings. When I'm just holding out just a single note like this, this E. Like when I switch between when I lift off my first finger, I kind of get this like grace note. Blah, blah.
Yeah. That's just left hand, right hand coordination.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess slow practice is good, and again like the stopping, lift finger, set, go, stop, put finger down.
Just like
set.
that, like micro movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just practice like that, and then you can eventually speed it up and do it in time.
Okay, let me try that section slow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I find myself that like running out of bow on those longer passages.
Yeah.
So should I start?
You probably want to be more towards the middle of your bow for this.
Okay.
Because it's whenever you play like at the frog, you're getting like usually get like a darker sound, like a heavier kind of sound, and at the tip it's light.
Okay.
And then the middle is like towards the balance point is a good place.
And then I guess it would also depend on how many hairs are touching the bow. So, and we've mainly focused on having all the hairs
Mhm.
touch the bow at the same time.
But yeah, that's
If I
the
try to-
way
Because
you
if
rotate. Yeah, on viola. On cello and bass, it's the other way, but that's because we're this way. You
Okay.
always want the stick of the bow to go towards the fingerboard.
Okay. Alright.
Mhm.
So, would you put more weight on either end of the bows if you're down bowing? Because I noticed that like my wrist tends to press more. There's more kind of like a finger pressure as I move down. Whereas if I start from the middle, it's just kind of at like a neutral weight. But then if I lean down to one side, then
Yeah.
that's how I overcompensated.
Mhm.
So is that just kind of like a fine motor motion, just kind of.
Yeah, no, the weight in your hand definitely changes with where you are in the bow.
Okay.
Yeah, and like what direction. Because whenever you're like going up, this finger's more in control. And then when you're, well, it's in control most of the time anyway. But can I see that?
Yeah.
And that actually. Don't put that at me. Just yeah, I'm just gonna, I keep hitting my couch. Oh, it's not Saturday. Yeah, like down here, there's definitely more first finger, because like my pinky is hardly even touching it anymore, because my elbow's like all the way out.
Okay.
And then it's more pinky and everything up here.
Okay. How much shoulder do you think, or how much does the shoulder play into moving the bow?
I mean, it's part of your arm, and well,
Because when
you don't want to like do this kind of thing.
like rolling the shoulder.
Yeah, no, it's mostly like elbow and wrist, and your shoulder's there to help.
Okay.
But you don't want to overdo it with the shoulder.
No. Last piece we'll look at is Purple Creek.
Okay.
And then the bracket right there, that's your.
That means down bow.
Down bow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, could you start up with an up bow, or is it just?
Sometimes it depends on the piece.
Okay. Okay, and this uses.
And you can check that with your open D string. That's a D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're a little sharp from the beginning of that scale.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. That finger motion, it's kind of, that G.
You don't have to keep your fingers on that G because you're not playing it anymore.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True. Okay. But is it usually preferred like to keep strings or to keep the fingers on the string, or does it just depend on what the player wants to do, or
It depends on a lot of things. Well, like whenever you're moving up the scale, like it helps to keep your fingers down, I guess, to like
okay.
orient yourself. But if you're playing like something like this, when you just D, then A, G, or A, F, G, then just like do that number. Yeah, because you're gonna need that again on that string anyway. So lift it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That way.
That way you don't have to hop over really fast.
Okay.
Whenever you need that D.
Let me try that a few times.
Okay. Wait, where was that?
Beginning. I think
okay.
I think I misread the clef.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot
And
more
this would be
sense.
another thing that would be good to practice with the bow, stop, set, bow, stop, set.
Okay.
And definitely in front of a mirror. And watch your bow angles on the string. Sometimes your bow will go like kind of that way at it.
Like parallel with the bridge.
Yeah, you want to be parallel.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like pay attention to what your
because we talked about that.
elbow's doing. Like make sure you're not like stretching out too far and you're not just like
which that's where the shoulder motion.
Definitely when you get down to the C string, you're gonna want to go like out farther.
Wait,
so, I mean like whenever you go down low, you're gonna want. Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to straighten out your elbow there. Yeah, I mean like, can I see it for a second?
Yeah.
Like what you were kind of doing was like that.
Oh.
See how it's kind of going that way?
Okay.
You want to.
So like this
Elbow.
So like the elbow, like it literally just pivots at the elbow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it gets less if you like here. You still have to like use your elbow and everything. But it's not as far out that way. It's
excellent. Well, I think we got a lot of things covered today.
Yeah.
So